Very good evening, friends, on the 19th of August 2017, and it's a cool night here in Kerala, my place, Ym.Engr Gardens. Well, continuing with my videos of my autobiography, for which I have a reason to bring it out, that in the later videos I would be coming to a point where I would be explaining how what are the differences I found when I started rediscovering the land I was born and bred, and the people of that wonderful land, Nagaland. Now, the last video, I actually told you about something precise about my life from my birth till 1982, when I left my village, Viswema. During the late 70s and the early 80s, that is 77 to 80, was the time when my best friend Viren and me, we were exposed to the then biggest media, the All India Radio, through conducting of science classes, of which we were the participants, and the classes were usually conducted by my dad in All India Radio Kohima, and were broadcasted. Because my dad was again the in charge of the lab, the science lab. Whenever it was free, I would go and do all crab experiments. But these in later period of life made me a perfect creative technocrat, what I am today. I was also too good in essay competitions, elocutions, and extempore. And I think it was in 80 or 81 that I and a very smart girl of LFS, don't know if it was Ravindra Kaur Bale or her elder sister, but I know she was a year senior to me, were firing on each other at Kohima in the final of the state elocution, and she overpowered me by just 0.5 points. But she was, wow, superb. All these exposures in later life polished those skills, and God's given gifts in me, of which some God's given gifts of mine will be told in the coming videos. 1982 was my exams in the matriculation, and on history day went to write the exams after 2 months of local beer, and there goes my top 10 ranking, as everyone expected me to be the topper. The few months of break between exam and results and joining Science College Kohima was the time I polished my Timir Choudhury, that is the Kohima dialect, as I used to talk only Viswe dialect of the Angami, which was the local Angami of Viswema. And the time I got close to Barabasti, that is called the big village of Kohima, the second biggest village of Asia, with becoming a naughty, innocent lover boy, to more than a dozen mamas and grandmamas of the Bosti, who used to wait for my evening walks up to the depth of the village, with either one corn roasted, that is makoi, what we call makoi roasted, or a dry beef piece smoked in the fire, or a piece of pork skin roasted in fire, and give it to me to hear me call them how my beautifully gorgeous, and say and give them a kiss on their forehead or their old cheek, and keep moving up to the next destination. I continue this phrase of calling her my beautifully gorgeous auntie or granny whenever I meet an old woman, and they love hearing it. Due to our family's intimate relationship with Apo Wamuzo and Afe Sano, who for me is my second mama. I used to jump to Big Brother Azibu's house to be greeted by Afirano if she was there. And she would have a small Cadbury dairy milk for me, as she knew I never ate any other sweet, and then hop on back home through the landslide which is near his house. Joining Science College was a turning point of my naughty, cute, shy, innocent self into a bit more grown up, making a group of entirely new friends. But due to my nature of being was again more closer to girls, and had only few boyfriends, of which Krihu, Kzangalo, Bubu, Eric, Anand, and Ahu were the main, and so did I have Moses, a boy called Moses from Mao. I never had non-local friends except two Bengali friends. One was Prasanta, and another was Das, if I still remember. As no one considered me as a non-local, and especially Angami just considered me as a Tenimi, that's Angami, and so had no only Naga friends, mainly Angami Ao, a few of Sema, and one Chang called Chuba from Twinside. With music fully in me due to my dad's love for all type of music, and got introduced to Bee Gees by dad way back in '73, and of course the all-time Jim Reeves and all that. Kizangalo, Anand, Bubu, me and Eric got serious into music and had a wonderful band called Intruders. A time when bell-bottoms and hippie style gave way to jeans and small jackets, and smoking cigarette was a new style of being a man. I too used to smoke, and one evening in the college bus, that was the last trip to the town and was yet to be filled up, and the only very few were in the bus, and we were on the last seat of the bus, the back seat of the bus, and few of us were smoking, in fact. And an over smart guy, a non-local guy, wanted to prove himself as an indigenous non-local Naga, came and asked only me to throw my cigarette, and I asked him why only me, why only me, and he in turn gave me a smash when many of us were sitting smoking. I said nothing, but the entire people in the bus just comforted me, in fact. I, after reaching home, thought, I am considered as an Angami, and that's a privilege. But he is trying to be a Naga. Forget it and go ahead. But it did change me, and till date, I have never smoked in the public transport or public place, public crowded area. And that was the first and last that anyone could ever lay a hand on me. As from that very day, I began to show out one of the worst behaviors of mine, which even I hate. I hate and fear now, and that is of becoming a wild bull if pestered. We used to be more in the auditorium where Anand and all used to play chichi, and me usually with my bunch of girlfriends like Marina skating around, slipping down to make them pull me up, and then the tea stall down the college, or be in the room near the prince's house where we had a room, and usually we played donkey with the cart, with a bunch that included Rachel and all those sweet girls. Freaking out was our hobby, and it had no limits in fact. With sitting in Linda and her sister's booze joint from morning to evening, just down Baptist English School, as you go up Baptist English School, or smoking weed the full day in innovative styles of smoking through apple or through allspice bottle half filled with water, and then walking all the way down in the dark to Kohima and get shit scared on the way where there was a water tank with a story of a baby and a mother drowned or killed or something. The road from the college to Forest Colony was just thick jungle and not a single house or light. And by 6 p.m. it would be pitch dark with the weird sounds of the nature. Oof. You would really bloody shit if you walk alone. We were a group walking usually, but then still many of us used to be really scared. I was very active in all the student activities, movements, and became the only non-local NSF board member of Science College, holding cultural secretary post in 83, 84. Was funny because a non-local Naga to be the cultural secretary. Well, some might feel that I'm blabbering and other things, but there are people on the social media who really know that I was the cultural secretary from Science College, Kohima. And there are those old-time NSF top brass leaders in the social media itself. Now, there are a few things that happened during my NSF period. Is that one day we had a big scenario where all the non-locals without the inner line permit were caught and were asked to wait in the local ground. And I was one of those guys who were in front, a non-local, asking that all the non-locals who were illegal to Nagaland should be driven off. My mother keeps laughing even today, a non-local trying to drive off all the non-locals in Nagaland. Um, One of our best friend, there were some tragedies too in this period of time. Was one of our best friend, whose name was Japan, died of a bike crash, and it was really saddening for us. As time went by, crew left the college midway and got settled. With his present beautiful lady, which happens to be again Ahu's auntie. And Bubu left for Madras without finishing his course to do his diploma in electronics. And we all, the rest left the college after PU in 95. And I went off for my engineering in mechanical in MIT Madras, and never after that had I any contact till 2015, when I again traced all my friends and many of my girlfriends, who then started meeting me anytime I reached Nagaland, and my girlfriends, ooh, they are so sweet that they immediately come to meet me and always call me and say, "Hey, Joe, you flirt, where are you and how are you?" But when they call me that, or come to meet me, I see that immense love in them to me. I don't think this is womanizing. If my good old buddies come to see me and spend some time with the old lover boy. And there are few stupid people like Akavi, who threatened some of my good old buddies, stating that he would use their names to defame me. He doesn't even know the relations, the value of relations at all. I pity these people. And this was one of my most golden periods of life in Kohima, and I have lots and lots of memories. And I miss that place too much, though I didn't have any contacts later in life when I left that place, because those days we didn't have mobile phones, or nor even land phones. Very few had land phones. I think Kohima, including ours, we had much lower than at 150 to 200 telephones. So we actually literally lost contact with each other, which was actually renewed after nearly 30 years, when I got in touch with my big sister, Vissamino, who is now in Belgium, I suppose. And then through her, I got in touch with my big brother, Azibu Saiza, and that's Afirano's son and daughter. And that's how I got Crew's number and Ahu's, everyone's number, and then that's how I started getting in touch with everyone, and I was so happy that I was back with my family, and they were also so happy to have me back with them, and they are, in fact, and this is how I started my journey of discovering Nagaland after 30 plus years. The next episode will actually be touching my life in the engineering, and my life after that, till the present life, and it will lead to my real purpose of telling you all my autobiography, and that would be the detailed report of rediscovering the land and the people that I was with for all my golden years of my babyhood, childhood, my teens, and my youth, and that is that wonderful land of Nagaland and that beautiful people, Nagas. Thank you. Keep watching. And thanks for all the support. Good night. Have a wonderful dream.